What's up, guys and gals? This is Griever back here, bringing you guys the latest behind-the-bar reviews for 7 Deadly Sins, Chapter 318. Most likely the most hated chapter by both haters and fanboys alike of the Natsu no Taizai series of this year. Now, once again, my most hated chapter thus far, if it's not 124 with the An, it would be chapter 300. But I can see why. As Iago once put it in the 1992 classic Aladdin, hate is such a strong word, but I feel it. I feel it off the internet. I feel it off the YouTube sections. I feel it off the Discord. I feel it everywhere for this chapter. And looking at the chapter with just the most basic viewing, just page by page, there wasn't too much wrong. But we'll go through that and we'll talk about why this chapter has its issues and why it's so hated. Because it wasn't anything necessarily surface level that the chapter did, but you can start poking holes right away after you really fully understand the scope of what this chapter showed us. Now, of course, we jump away from the hype of chapter 317 with Escador and stuff, but I think we all expected that. So no real disappointment there, but let's just dive right in. First half of the chapter, once again, cover page does not show us anything we didn't already know. Nakaba, come on, buddy, come on. You showed me you could do it before in the same chapter with the Q&A, which he failed to do this time, and with the cover page. You did it in one chapter all at once, and it gave us a lot to talk about. Come on, man, you can do it again. I know you can do it. I know you have it in you. Just, we don't need cover pages like this. Anyways, so the first half is they fight. Meliodas, with a little bit of help from Elizabeth, but Meliodas pretty much versus the Demon King's Eldris. And the art's good, fight looks cool, Demon King is simply getting his ass handed to him. This is a beatdown, this isn't a Bond versus Demon King Meliodas, this isn't an even fight, this is a beatdown. Meliodas is not getting hit, he's not getting a scratch, he's using both full counter, he's using the hidden ability of Lost Vein, which is, of course, the ability we haven't seen in a long time. We haven't seen him do a lot of this stuff in a long time. He's been using, because he's been relying on his darkness and his new abilities lately. But we see him use full counter, he uses the Lost Vein ability to split into 5 clones of himself, and we see him use, I don't know if it's a new technique, and I didn't really do enough research before I decided to do this review, because we want to get it out today, of course, in a timely fashion. And he uses an attack that is enchanted by Arc by Elizabeth after the Demon King pulls out his own sword, which is, you know, like, is he a shower, not a grower sort of idea? I don't know what the Demon King's trying to prove with that thing. But either way, Prison Gate Blade, Hell Gate Blade, something like that. And he's like, yeah, I'll attack you with this. And then all Elizabeth does is do enchant Arc on Meliodas' sword. Meliodas then use God Splitter or something like that. Or Divine God, some type of thing, attack name with God in it. I think we might have seen this before. It's not 1,000 Divine Slashes that he used against Escador, I don't believe, but we might have seen him use this technique before. I don't know. Either way, he then attacks the Demon King with a combination of, it's a combo technique called God Slayer, the combination of Meliodas and using his ability with Lost Vein, and Elizabeth using Enchant Arc on the blade, which would be super effective, because remember, since chapter 287, 293, whatever episode that Merlin pulled that crap out of her ass, we know that we have been watching actually a nightly version of Pokemon, and Pokemon types are definitely a thing in Taizai. The bitterness is definitely not in my voice about it. So, skipping over the Pokemon types and stuff, that's pretty much the first half of the chapter. And once again, other than that little thing of Enchant Arc and the whole Pokemon typing, I don't have a problem with this technique doing damage. It looked cool. Combo techniques, once again, are something that was a heavy staple in Taizai and have been missing for a while. So I don't mind actually seeing it utilized and actually doing something. That is cool. We'll talk about the problem with that at the end of the video. I'm going to just try to get through the chapter, guys. But as far as the rest of the fight goes, the fight's fine. Good artwork, other than a beatdown and stuff. It looked cool. Meliodas kicking ass. Bring back old techniques. Fine. Okay. It's when we get into the second half of this chapter. It's when we get into the other half, when they start talking. Dialogue is Nakaba's biggest crux. Nakaba's, like, that's his, what is it? The whole, the back of the knee, the ankle thing with, what's his name? It's one of those things that I don't understand what you're doing here. Because first off, there are multiple problems in this chapter, don't get me wrong. But the first thing talked about is the ruler. Because we just saw him use a magical attack, and we saw, of course, Elizabeth use arc, magic, against the Demon King. The ruler shouldn't allow this. So he summarizes that, where's your power of the ruler? It seems you're not using it. And Meliodas' reasoning for this is because he can't use it. Because his body, the body he chose, Zeldris' body, is not compatible enough with the Demon King himself, so he can't actually even use his heavily broken ability, Ruler. Okay, except for the fact that that is a assumption on Meliodas' part, and the Demon King himself said it was near to Meliodas' vessel. That this was an exceptionally, it was a much better vessel than he thought it ever would be. That implies to me that makes no sense. That's an assumption on Meliodas' part, and we heard from the Demon King himself that he was shocked at the actual level of compatibility between him and Zeldris. Now, why would he jump into a body and praise it if he couldn't even activate his own goddamn magic? That makes no sense, so big issue there. After he talks about the ruler and says, it doesn't matter though, you can clearly tell that I am kicking the crap out of you, which he is. He's kicking the living shit out of the Demon King. He's like, if you don't want to die, leave my brother, leave the vessel, go back to purgatory, blah, blah, blah. And then this is where the Demon King kind of gets up and grumble. But then we're doing some inner monologuing here. Basically, Elizabeth and Meliodas for the rest of the chapter are trying to convince Zeldris, like, can you hear me? Like, using the mental thing Elizabeth talks about. Basically, the one thing we didn't really want this to be was a repeat of the disappointment that was the Demon King Meliodas fight. But according to Elizabeth, it has to go down that way. We have a Meliodas in the place of Bond, but now we need a Meliodas in the place of Zeldris to make this actually happen. Otherwise, the Demon King will go on forever, and we're going to be at a stalemate, which is kind of hinted at the end of the chapter, which is not anything anybody wanted. Not about what are you doing, and this is a serious issue. This is a problem, guys. And outside of that, so Zeldris and Elizabeth, or Meliodas and Elizabeth, they're just trying to say listen to your brother, wake up, don't be a pawn of our father. Come on, can you hear me? Snap out of it. That's what he's monologuing or trying to telepathically connect. And once again, Meliodas, you are not Gotham. What do you think that's happening? That you're thinking that in your head, as far as I know. And according to another part at the end of the chapter, anything you guys can say to explain away how you guys think that's going to work, it won't, because you're not using those abilities. So, anyways. And Elizabeth is basically trying to do the same thing. Like, we need that's basically the exact same situation during chapter 300 on. We need that exact situation to happen again. Boring as hell, but that's the thing. Then, after all this, Demon King, of course, once again, is getting his ass totally kicked and stuff. And once again, I might move the fight around a little bit because I wanted to move into fight territory and then into dialogue territory. So, the Demon King notices a few things, though. He notices and he looks and goes, it doesn't matter how confident and cocky you've been. It doesn't matter how much you're kicking my ass. At the end of the day, I can feel it through the trees, through the wind. He thinks he's Yoda talking about the Force or something. Through the water's surface. I can feel that you're actually holding back, that your sword slashes are sluggish, your punches are weak, and you're there's no intent behind them. And you're actually getting really desperate right now. What a fool. Ha ha ha. And that is pretty much how the chapter ends. Except for one other key thing. He mentions that Meliodas, with the whole sluggishness and stuff, is that not only he should have the power right now, this is the Demon King, he should have power to rival the Demon King's own. Yet, he is not using it. And even then he says, forget all that, he's not even activating his demon mark. He's not using any darkness, he's not using any of his innate abilities. He's Meliodas from Volume 1, with his Sacred Treasure. That's who he is. The same Meliodas that fought the Albion. That is the Meliodas currently. Strong as hell, but that's the one fighting the Demon King right now. And kicking the crap out of him. Kicking the shit out of him. So, All right. That was my chapter review, guys. And now we're going to get into, after I have a drink, I might end up finishing this by the end of this, because now we're going to go into rant territory. I tried to make this review very quick, under 10 minutes-ish, so that we could actually talk about the issues with this chapter. Because that's a chapter, page by page, panel by panel, switched up where happened where a little bit, but that was the basic dialogue, and that was the basic fight. The art was good, the fight was okay, or the beatdown, I should say, was okay, but that is not enough to save this. It's not enough to save it. So, okay, guys, are you ready to get into the number of retconning issues with this, or the power scale? Let's just start right off the bat. Let's start right off the bat with problem number 1, the ruler. As I already stated very briefly, and I'll just state it again very briefly because it's straightforward. He apparently doesn't have the ruler, choosing not to activate it, or cannot activate it. There's no reason for the Demon King right now to not activate it if he can. So, Meliodas' assumption that the vessel is the problem, or he's not strong enough yet is the problem, is... Okay. Meliodas' assumption is shit. That's just a fact. Because the Demon King himself, who would know better about the vessel, the body-snatching asshole that he is, would have an idea. And why would he be so confident, pick a fight with them before he had the ruler back? He would know if he had the ruler back. Why wouldn't he wait longer, bide his time, move around, keep the curse removed, something like that for a little bit longer before trying to take on Meliodas? Once again, Demon King, you're not thinking. If he had taken over Zeldris back when he was willing and able when the Ten Commandments were first released, Sins would have been dead, nothing would have happened, Demon King wins the day. So, whatever. That's a whole other problem. But yeah, so there's problem 1, the whole ruler shtick. Don't buy it. Problem 2, and once again, thank you to a lot of the guys on Grimm's Discord. I just wanted to give a big shout out right now. And before I forget, give a shout out to Grim Reaper. Give a shout out who does the Boar's Hat podcast, of course. Give a shout out to a couple of the guys in the Discord, some of the bigger names in the Discord, I believe. Right now it's Chubsperm and Greek God, I don't know what the hell your name is right now. Some of these guys, we had long discussions about this chapter and the chapter before, having big discussions about it, so shout out to you guys because they also gave me a lot of food for thought for this review. So, thanks guys. Of course, Keishan Prime, 90 having Sundown Rider, all the good guys, watch their reviews, watch their content, all that good stuff. Before I forget, I've been slack on giving my shameless plugging to the other guys. So, anyways, this was something proposed to me before or brought up. Now you can kind of forgive it a little bit, but not really. It's the fact that if he's using an ability, according to Meliodas back in the Holy War when the Endura were transforming, when Derriere and Monspeed were transforming, it was shown to me, and this is just a nitpick thing, I'll admit it, but this whole enchant arc thing, and then Meliodas using an ability, a named attack of his own, to make a combo attack. Okay, but in the fight against Derriere and Monspeed, Meliodas said he cannot help Elizabeth because their powers will clash and cancel each other out. Now I know what some of you are going to say. Well, yeah, but he wasn't using darkness, and he wasn't using his demon mark ability or Hellblaze or anything like that. That's what he meant back then. Okay, sure. Yeah, and I can buy that explanation with the whole, okay, he couldn't, if he used a darkness ability or stuff, that would have done more, it would have hindered rather than helped when Elizabeth was trying to save Derriere and Monspeed from their Endura selves. But my issue with that is shown in this very chapter. Doesn't use his demonic power. For a lot of the first arc, for a lot of Taizai in general, he does not use his demon mark, Hellblaze, or his demonic power. And right here we are shown that they can actually combine arc and a named attack of Meliodas. So he couldn't have helped without activating the demon mark. Meliodas back 3,000 years ago wasn't strong enough to help without going full-blown 10 Commandment leader. That's a power scaling issue. That's a big problem. And that also leads us into our next big issue is, of course, the power scaling. The power scaling is divinely bad. The power scaling here is just, I'm going to have another drink and do a cutaway. So now we're into the power scaling problem, which is that's the big red thumbs down on the thumbnail. That's the reason everyone really despises this chapter and has lost total respect for the villain, total respect for the Demon King in general, and just respect for where this arc took us. And I called this since chapter 300, this wasn't going to end well. Nakaba should have used these chapters after Epilogue 3, should have used these to write a far better ending. He would have had 10, 20 chapters to write a great ending to the story, wrap up everything, give us some time skips, give us all nice, concrete, slow, proper-paced endings for all our characters, explain away a bunch of stuff, and it would have been fine. This has not been a good ride because, number one, if the Demon King was this damn weak, which nobody's denying right now that he's weak. He is weak. He admitted himself. Meliodas, who has power on par with the actual Demon King, isn't even activating Demon King form. On top of that, he's not even activating his demon mark in demon form. And he's kicking the shit out of this Demon King. So, problem number one. He killed Cusack for no damn reason. I mean, Cusack could have helped. He could have distracted Elizabeth. Or distracted Meliodas. Been some cannon fodder. You know? He killed him just to show, ha ha ha, I'm so great. When you're literally lying in a pool of blood caused by two people who you have not even touched yet. You're lying in a lake that supposedly is granting you a bunch of power. But you're not showing it, dude. So, that's problem number one. Problem number two was problem number one, we'll push that to problem number two. Because problem number one was very simply the fact that this Demon King right now, who's supposed to be on par, who's supposed to be this strong, who was able to take that little nudge that Merlin opened, wrenched it open, called forth an Endura, did all this crap, right? This guy is getting his ass kicked by base form Meliodas. Why is this? This isn't fun. This isn't good. The power scaling is totally off. The power scaling has been off since Bond was able to go toe-to-toe. I don't care how strong a human you are. I don't care how many years in purgatory. You do not become stronger than a god in the perfect vessel. You do not be able to fight him like Rocky Balboa. I don't care how strong you are. And that power scaling was off. Now we're stretched all the way to here. This power scaling is the worst. I've heard so many arguments. I've read paragraphs upon paragraphs of people explaining examples as to how this power scaling just went, basically took the Dragon Ball Z treatment, went like this, picked it back up and went, you know what? I think Vegeta could have killed Frieza on Namek. And Nakaba said, perfect, that makes total sense. You guys, everyone has problems with power scaling in a lot of series. But this is worse than any series right now as far as power scaling goes. I haven't seen a worse case of power scaling, and I have watched Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z is one of the examples where they had the number system, threw it away once again. They are the prime example to never use a number system. And yet people still do it, but never use a number system because it eventually catches up to you for situations like this. And then the numbers become irrelevant, and then nobody cares anymore. So, in this case scenario, the Demon King is getting his ass kicked by base form. It makes no sense. And the reason it makes no sense, once again, is that he's confident and cocky right now. There are so many... Okay. Read any YouTube comment. Go on the sites and read the comment section of the translated sites. Go read any Discord that does 7 Deadly Sins. Because I'm not going to beat this dead horse any longer on that point. Let's move on to the other point. The curses. Oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun because I just thought of this one. Kidneys, ladies and gentlemen. Kidneys. Or liver in this case, I guess. The curses. Well, you know those curses, right? The curse that Meliodas destroyed with the power of the Demon King. spoken many times, the power of the Demon King. Powerful enough to destroy the curses, he can destroy them, erase them, which he did. Okay, so the Demon King right now, right, has reinstated this curse. And even after Meliodas goes, yeah, okay, and destroys it a second time, it just starts regenerating. Okay. So the Demon King that cannot use the ruler because his vessel is so weak, or he's not powerful enough. The Demon King that is getting his ass kicked by base form Meliodas, who is not using any of his demon abilities, let alone his god tier abilities that the Demon King says rivals his own. That Meliodas, in full form, at his highest potential, in Demon King form, rivaling a god, cannot destroy this curse. From that guy. Okay, I'm trying. I am trying to understand how that works. I really am. But it doesn't make sense. You can try to explain it away, ladies and gentlemen. That makes no damn sense. That has no logic behind it. That has no reason behind it. And as it was pointed out to me in the Discord, the Supreme Deity has nothing to do with Elizabeth's curse. The Demon King cursed Elizabeth. The Supreme Deity cursed Meliodas. So you can't even say, oh, well, the Supreme Deity's abilities are involved. No, they're not. No, they're not, because I kept saying that shit, and I was shot down every time since last Sunday, and was proven on there are multiple panels and pages of previous chapters that say that that is the case. So, alright, that's fine. So, none of this makes any sense. The power scaling here is such... I haven't read a shonen that did this much hate on a main villain. Like I thought it ended when he was the body snatching cliche 1990s friggin' villain anime called. They want their villain back. Hi, this is 1991. Yeah, 30 years ago. Yeah. Can we have our cliche villain back that all the 11-year-olds watch and they're called weebs before weeb was actually a word? Yeah, can we have him back? Because that's what you just gave us Nakaba. Click. Like, seriously. That's all this dude is. That's it. He's a body snatching waste of time who gets his ass kicked by people that he should kick their ass. Or at least give them a fight. And people are complaining last chapter that Escanor the One can't beat this guy. Are you kidding me? Here's what's actually going to happen. Escanor's going to show up to do his due diligence, and he's going to blow up that lake just the same way he blew up the one that Estarossa was in. He's going to come in, greatest son, boom, cruel son this, greatest son that, prominence, fury that. He's going to blow up that magical lake. Demon King's going to be singed to a crisp, just like Estarossa was. He's going to go down there one form time and be like, I'm ending this right now, And then Meliodas is going to go, ching, no, that's my brother. And then it's going to be the One versus Meliodas all over again. They're going to argue. That's going to break the stalemate between Meliodas can't actually fully go all out against his brother because it's my brother's body and all that shit. Okay, you're telling me Elizabeth, who managed to reverse Endora transformation after the 6 hearts and all that stuff. You're also telling me that Meliodas, on supposed Demon King level, who's supposed to break curses and such, which means he should be able to give blessings similar to what they gave Merlin, like, yeah, you're exempt from commandments. That's the only reason Merlin's hacks works. Yeah, I bless you with the ability of all my arts, plus you don't need any of that stuff. You're telling me, and Gother, you're telling me a combination of Merlin, Gother, and Elizabeth, all proven to be able to do this, can't just go there and figure out, like, Meliodas, beat him within an inch of his life, and pull a purge. Remember, Ludoshel was all screwed up, and that's when Henny caught him by surprise. Right? So traumatize the Demon King. Cut his legs off. Go demon form Meliodas. Then take Elizabeth, who you know has purge. You take Merlin, who has every spell, so she must have purge. Take Hendy, revive Zarathos, let him do purge, for God's sakes, at this point. They should be able to purge Zeldris out of the body. That should be their attempt here. Not beating the Demon King until he just gives up. The dude's been in purgatory for millions of years. He's not giving up shit. This is a stupid fight. It's not going to go anywhere. And the end page even said stalemate. It's this might be a stalemate. Of course it is. Because Meliodas ain't going to fight. The Demon King's going to try to fight and keep getting his ass kicked. Until the Demon King sucks up all the water, and then he's like, now you waited too long, Meliodas. Now I have the ruler. Now I have this. Now I have that. And it's going to come down to that. I'm calling it right now. Escanor is going to show up to, once again, take out that Demon King, which at this point, nobody after reading this chapter can tell me the one can't take this guy out. Because he totally can. I garner that he could take him out without the one form. Now that's a stretch, but at this point, I'm just mad. And Escanor goes in, he's going to take out the Demon King once and for all, end the problem, end the series, let everyone try to figure out how to revive souls after that. And, because Melusukla brings people back to life. One commandment, one demon. You're telling me the combination of the super powerful people, which, by the way, if Melusukla can do it, Merlin should be able to do it because she has every single demon art. Just saying. And Meliodas, half the Demon King ability, rivaling his own power. Can't bring Zeldris back to life? Yeah, bullshit. So, anyways, they do all this, and then, once again, as I keep saying, I know I'm jumping all over the place, guys, but Escanor's going to kill him, they're going to clash, Meliodas is going to be like, no, you can't. They're going to squabble, give Demon King either time to run away, time to charge up, time to do something, reach his perfect form. God, this is a bad chapter. Because it led to this. As I said, that's why this is two parts, ladies and gentlemen. Because we had the first part where, here's the chapter. Got a couple of problems, but overall, it's just a fight. They fight, whatever, Meliodas kicking his ass. But if you read deeper into what that means, it means so much bullshit for the other 300 chapters and what's to come. Alright. I'm done. That was my rant. Like, comment, subscribe down below, ladies and gentlemen. Don't drink like I just did. Drink responsibly. This has been Griever with 7 Deadly Sins, Chapter 318. The thing that has been the most shit since Chapter 300. And, yeah, I'm done. Alright, guys. Hope 319 actually does something cool. Signing off. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know. See ya.